Not too many people realize that Kia Motor Corporation has been around since 1944, but back then they were known as Sang Precision Industries. And what was their core business? Steel tubing and bicycle parts. But they've always been the pioneers of bringing mobility to the Korean people. They brought the first mass-produced bicycle, the motorcycle, before they eventually brought out the first car back in 1973. But the simple needs, the rural needs, I guess, of the people have changed. And it was the Sorento in 2003 that changed Kia's brand perception as a whole, from a producer of small, not such good quality cars to a serious player on the global stage. The new Sorento has been launched and they're continuing that unbelievable trend for more luxury, more refinement and more technology. Sure, Korea is a long way from South Africa. It's a long way to fly for what we thought would just be a mid-life cycle facelift of the Sorento. But in actual fact, it's not. And that is why Kia has gone to all the expense of bringing us over here. For them, they feel the change is so significant that it's a complete upgrade. They've changed the design, they've changed the platform, and they've loaded in heaps more features. Before we do get to that, quite interesting to have a look at a bit of history in terms of the brand Kia at the moment. The past 3 years, double-digit growth the brand has enjoyed. It just recently made it into the top 100 global brands. This year they're wanting to build just on 2.7 million units. They just seem to be on the up and the up. The question is why? The brand was always cheap and cheerful, I suppose. That has changed significantly, and for them in the last 10 years, they've seen a 50% improvement in their J.D. Power's quality surveys. Those are massive numbers, and it's not enough. Kia want to obviously keep improving on that. But then also very significantly is design, and that's what I've always been going on about. Since Peter Schreier took over as the head of design, we've seen this unbelievable change in sportiness, the character, and a distinctive look about the Kia brand. Obviously, the tiger nose is the defining feature on all their vehicles, and that's probably a good place to start in terms of the new styling changes on the, can I say, all-new Sorento. The front end has been reworked, new bumpers, they've got LED light clusters they've put into it, and if you line it up next to the old one, you'll see quite different fog lights and front bumper and grille layout. So that's the first part you're going to notice. But for me, from an external styling cue, I think the most significant change is the rear. The lights that we've got to really enjoy on rear in terms of how the cluster and the LED is laid out, you're now going to find on the back of the Sorento. And for me, it actually looks a lot more muscular, I suppose, more purposeful. Styling wise, Peter Schreier and his team just can't do anything wrong. In terms of the interior, it's kind of what we've come to expect from Kia now. Super comfortable, loads of extras, all the bells and whistles all added in. Significant, the center cluster now is dominated by an 8-inch LCD screen that runs your navigation system as well as all the interfaces and your audio entertainment system as well. They've also then put in a TFT display screen in the center cluster for the driver, so all of the vital information like your fuel efficiency figures, range on your tank, and any of the adjustments you want to make onto the personal settings on the cars, you can now see from a driving perspective on the screen that's in the center cluster. So that's significant in terms of the changes there. As you know, Sorento does give you the option of the 7 seats. That is quite important. We always say, oh, who's actually going to fit in that third row? They've managed to find a 9% improvement in the space and the leg room at the back. You know, I popped in there, obviously for someone my size at 6 foot, not much headroom, not too much leg room, but then I'm not obviously the person who's going to be jamming in the back there. Ideal for parents doing the kids run. Aircon is now routed to the back, which wasn't before, but more significant is in the second row, where they've managed to secure a 30% improvement in legroom. Nice, you can recline those seats as well. Dual climate control is obviously standard in the range that we're in, so the interior is really well laid out. They really are spending a lot of time on R&D and getting the development of the car sorted out, and NVH for them is vitally important. Obviously key to this improvement in the NVH on the Sorento is their H-shaped vibration absorbing subframe that they've used. And even though they're using the same setup from a suspension point of view with McPherson in the front and multi-link in the rear, it's how these actually connect to the subframe that have made a massive difference. And that's what I've really enjoyed driving the new Sorento, is that it is a comfortable, quiet drive. A lot of the time these SUVs have almost become too sporty and the rides can be fairly firm and choppy. A big D-segment SUV like this is all about the comfort and all about the cruise. They've also put in a lot of sound dampening into the engine well as well as into the transmission, so it is super, super quiet on the drive. No complaints there. The Sorento comes with 3 engine derivatives. Here in Korea, we're driving the top of the range 3.5 litre V6 petrol engine. There's a 2.4 litre as well. And then there's the 2.2 VGT turbo diesel engine that we obviously know back in SA. But they've made some improvements to it. It's still got lots of power, 436 odd Newton meters of torque, but now it's going to be more fuel efficient. And CO2 is down to 158 grams. Tough to talk about it because we haven't got to drive it, unfortunately. But what I have enjoyed, they've reworked the gear lever on the Sorento now, so it's a straight box, and the 6-speed is well matted to 3.5 litre petrol V6 that we're driving. Again, very, very smooth. Power delivery is progressive. The drive has been a good one. Some new tech that I got to enjoy on Hyundai's i30, which is now on the Sorento, is the Flexi Steer option, where you get to set your steering feel. 3 options: sport, comfort, or normal. We've had ours in sport most of the day, and there is a difference. You can feel the change. But for me, I don't know whether I'm convinced that it's actually going to really alter your driving experience or if it's more of a gimmick. But anyway, that tech is there and you can feel it. We always use the term SUVs and forget that it actually means sports utility vehicle. Kia has it because they've always aligned themselves with sport as a brand building opportunity and driver. Their longest sporting association has been with Australian Open. Obviously they're heavily involved with FIFA as well, and it's these positions with sports utility vehicles like Sorento that have really seen this car do exceptionally well for the Kia brand and change their perception of the brand as a whole. And I think with the significant changes, this isn't just a facelift, it's a whole new platform, new technology, and obviously some subtle changes, mainly on the rear end as well, are going to see the continued growth of the Sorento brand for Kia.